you know what's funny is like nobody gives a shit about my entrepreneur, like not, I don't say nobody, but very few people care about my entrepreneur journey. And like, so I'll go talk to people and I'm like, oh yeah, I've built like a 9-figure business and done this, done that. And they're like, oh, cool. Oh, you're a YouTuber? Like, that's what's like the coolest thing. So
it's like the new, it used to be an insult.
Yeah.
And now it's the new aspiration.
Flip
for
back in the days.
Whatever
like,
the new gen, I don't know. I can't keep up with the gen letters, but it's
so like I've always been an entrepreneur, you know, since I was 19 years old. I built my first business plan. I tried to like get money to start a business. I didn't have like a lot of like mentorship or anything like growing up. Like, you know, my dad was like a dentist, you know, but I didn't live with him. My mom, you know, was a single mom. You know, I grew up with 7 brothers and sisters. So I grew up like very poor.
7
brothers. I grew up with 7 brothers and sisters, but I had.
After year 3, where did you move to?
Which city?
After my 3.
Like 3 years in
3
Italy.
years in Italy.
Oh yeah. We've been all over. So like, you know, we moved to like Utah, then Idaho, then Colorado, then Georgia, then California. I've been in California.
So you settled down the family and everybody.
California is the best.
Okay. So you went to school in California?
Yeah. So we live in Marietta, California right now. If you don't know where that is, it's about halfway between San Diego and Los Angeles. But I graduated from high school there, met my high school sweetheart, Brianne.
I didn't know your high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
15 years old. We were 15 and a half years old when we met.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. That's admirable. So how long have you been married then?
21 years.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Good for you guys. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's cool. Like it's, you know, and then like, you know, I went away to college and it was like brutal. It was like really tough, like having a long distance relationship. As soon as, you know, I finished the semester, I went straight back home and I didn't like being in the snow either. And I've been in California ever since. And we settled down in Marietta. It's like a great place to raise a family. You know, we ended up having like 3 kids, you know, out the gate. So like, our youngest is 17 years old.
So Daddy got busy like immediately.
We
like,
didn't have TV. I was poor. We didn't have TV. You know?
No TV, no internet, nothing. What do we do? Baby, let's rock and roll.
Oh my
okay,
God.
so you did rock and roll 3 times in a row, and then what happened?
Jesus. That's
more than 3 times.
Probably more than 3.
I hit the target 3 times.
You know, when 2 people when two people love each other very much, sometimes it's more.
Okay.
But we, so like I've always wanted to be like an entrepreneur, and I got into sales because like I was, you know, personable and I could talk to people and you know, one of the like best things like for me, like, so I got into selling cars, and imagine being like 19 years old, like negotiating car deals with like 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds, you know, like you have to grow up really fast.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with like finance and interest rates and all that. And I was like terrible with math, like terrible. Like I struggled so bad with math in school. And by the way, I graduated with a 2.3 GPA. So if I can do it, anybody can do it, you know?
High school or college?
High school.
Is
it
good? I just don't know what is GPA.
No,
it's not good.
I just don't even, because
4 it's 2.3 out of 4, basically.
If you're white like me, a 4.0 is good. If you're Asian, a 4.5 is good. So, yeah. So, but anyway.
It's like a D average, like CD average. Yeah.
Yeah. Like but I wasn't a good student. I remember I had a teacher come up to me and she's like, you know, like, you're not stupid. Like, I know you're not stupid. She's like, you're just not applying yourself. So like next semester, like the semester after that, I had like the highest grade in the class. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Like, and I just didn't care. I wasn't motivated, you know? And I didn't have
focus.
Yeah. And I didn't have a house where like my mom was like, hey, like get your homework done, you know, like I just didn't have that, you know? Right. My mom supported me in different ways, but just not like that. It just, you know, it wasn't something that she was really thinking about. And so, you know, graduated from high school, you know, have 3 kids, I had to like make money. So I sold cars for 5 years. And I did like really well, like selling cars. You know, I think just being younger too, and in the car business, you take like a totally different approach, you know, like
which dealership can I ask?
Toyota.
Yeah. I just about to say, don't tell me it's Toyota.
Toyota.
Let's go places.
So the whole, I could do a whole offshoot of the car sales industry because it fascinates me because of how different it is from any other sales industry.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I bet you got so many like insider secrets and shit.
Yeah. I could do a whole thing on that. But like, it's funny because like I had like my bosses were kind of old school. And so they were like, like, this is how you sell cars. And then I was like,
sharks.
I'm just going to be friends with people and help them find what they want. And I was like extremely successful. I would send out Christmas cards, birthday cards, follow up all the time. And when I left, like I just had customers who would call me, hey, I'm going to come in and buy a car. Like I didn't, and I remember, like I'm watching people wait for customers to come in, and I'm like, this is like a waste of time. Like you're literally sitting there for like 10 hours a day waiting for somebody to come in so you can make money and help them buy a car and everything else. And I'm like, so I've always been about efficiency, especially when it's my time. And I'm a natural procrastinator. And so I think over the years, like this stuff has actually helped me out long-term, because like being a procrastinator, you have to really think on your feet, because like, you're like, oh shit, I have a test, or I have this, or I have that. So you have to really like think on your feet. And I think that's why, like with the negotiations and everything else, like I get dialed in, I know exactly what needs to be done. And like, body language, all the other, you start learning that stuff.
So you did this, then
fast forward 2007, the market crashed. Literally, like on our street, you'd have 10 houses, and 7 houses would have nobody in them because they were foreclosed. And so in our area, like people were using the money in their house to buy cars. And so like I went from making, 80, 90 grand a year at like 23 years old or whatever, to making like $1,200 a month overnight.
If you're comfortable. Of course. Can you talk a little bit, because that's something that we're going to cross border to our Mexican adventures and until 5 a.m. jacuzzi conversations. Can you talk a little bit struggle when you're married, when you have 3 kids and you need to apply for...
Yeah. So like, I'm very proud of my past,
as you should, as we all should, of course.
Like if I literally took one thing away from my past, I would not be who I am, and I would not be where I am and is successful and everything. Like I know, and I'll tell you why. Right. But, so essentially like I got my insurance license because I had buddies that were selling insurance, and I left the car business to sell insurance. And I was selling like a ton of insurance every week. I was like closing like a ton of deals. And then what started happening was like people started canceling their policies. And if you know how an insurance agent gets paid, so
what kind of insurance?
Life insurance, disability.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if I cut you a check for $83 a month, that's $1,000 a year. And as an agent, I can make around 55 to 60% of that up front. Right. So the insurance agency will cut you a check for that up front. So I'm selling like my commissions like $2,000-$3,000 a week, like after struggling in the car business for 6 months. Wow. And, but then people start canceling their policies. And so the insurance company's like, well, I prepaid you. Yeah. So I want my money back.
What?
So like I'm working all these hours.
Your commission back.
Yeah. And I'm paying commission back.
Do that shit.
Yeah.
Is this even legal?
Yeah. I mean, because they're paying me in advance, help me go on. And, but this was just a tough time in the economy. And, so I'm like, look, I'm just going to start a business. So, like sign spinners,
My brother did that.
Yeah.
Really?
So I
sign spinners, the one that you see
on the corner
with backflips and stuff. Yeah.
You'd be great at that. Everybody would look at you.
I could be like Brad Reed with a Taco Bell.
Did we make a video pretending to be one of those guys?
Yeah,
anyway,
of course, something like that. Okay.
So, this is where like my internet stuff picks up. So, I'm always different. So I couldn't just do sign spinners. I'm like, I got to do sign heads, right? So I built sign heads. So Ryan, go to, what archive.org is?
No.
Okay. Go to archive.org, a Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
And then type in terrificad.com. So that was my website. And
terrific.
And so
I'm going to screen record.
I built these.
Do
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll screen record it.
I built these like stupid contraptions that would go on somebody's head. And then I found people that could dance. And so instead of sign spinners, I'm like, I'm going to find people who can dance. I'm going to do these signs. And so I started going around and like selling this.
Archive.org. And then it's
terrificad.com.
Terrific ad.
It's like 08, 09 by
08.
now?
It's like, 08.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrificad.com.
It's not bringing anything. Search did not match any items in archive.
It might. I think you might be able to go.
Oh, well, let me try it over here. Here we go.
Did it pop up?
I have a calendar.
Images? No, there is no images.
Between November of 2010, 2021. I never used Archive, so I don't actually know how it works. Summary. Sitemap.
A lot of
It
statistics.
gives me data, but I can't actually see what it looks like.
Was it like 2009 or?
Yeah, it like starts in 2010. It says November. Saved 16 times between 2010 and 2021. But I don't know. It doesn't actually show me the website or anything.
I'll see if I can pull it up.
Okay.
Okay.
So essentially, so I taught myself how to build a website, and so I was like going and I was like selling this to businesses, and
so you wear it on your head?
Yeah, I like basically built like this like triangle sign that like went over your head, and then I found like some dude that could do. I found this guy that could do the moonwalk like really, really well, and.
So your hands are free and you're just...
And by the way, this guy's actually like done 7-Eleven commercials.
I've got to see a picture of this.
Like you could do like maybe Google 7-Eleven moonwalk guy or something like that. But it was this like really nice guy. He was like a caretaker and he like danced like doing sign spinning and stuff. And I had him work for me. And so didn't really like take off. It was taking longer to take off because I was working side jobs and then doing this on the side. And then, but I built my first website and I started like on Twitter. Like Twitter kind of was new during that time. And I built this account with like 30,000 followers on Twitter in 1 month. And I'm like, this is my calling. Like the internet stuff is way bigger than like anything offline, you know, because your audience is everywhere.
And this is what year? I mean,
2008.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Twitter would just come out and
the beginning of everything. Yeah.
So, anyway, I start doing that and so I'll tell you this like tough story, but it's really what made me and put me where I am. And so we were literally, on a homeless program for 30 days. I was getting cash aid, food stamps. And it was like a very humbling time, like in my life.
Having a wife and
how old were your kids?
Yeah, 3 little boys.
How old were they?
So I mean,
roughly?
Our oldest was like 5, 6, you know?
So at the time your net worth was negative $69.
Yeah, maybe it's negative 69,000.